Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I hope all of you guys are wonderful, enjoying yourselves in this global crisis. Okay, yeah, mashallah, alhamdulillah, had a wonderful time. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. CSDF. Yeah, I played, so the picture I took was basically, alhamdulillah, the court was empty. It was only our team's only playing. A few more came later, but it was only ours really that were playing at that time. So, yeah. So, alhamdulillah. It was good. It was good. I like it when it's quiet because I can play properly. Otherwise, when it's noisy, so distracting and it's difficult to concentrate as well. But yeah, anyway. I'm just waiting for the guys to come on. Let's just... Okay. Did I go Juma? Yeah, I did Juma, alhamdulillah. Yeah, alhamdulillah. Yeah, I went Juma, I did the Juma, led the Juma. And I just thinking to myself, I hope there's no one here with the coronavirus hanging around. Okay, let's... Yeah. Excellent. Right, that's all up. Okay, let's start then. Okay, so can everyone see? Can everyone hear? Yeah, you guys got no problems. Okay, so alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. Let's start then. So I don't think there's that many questions today. I think people are on lockdown, so questions are on lockdown as well. So as you guys all know, as usual, questions down at the bottom. Yeah, you can add the questions, inshallah, in the curious cat if you like, or you can put it in the chat box. Okay, so let's start with today's question. So actually, in fact, today's actually I've got the least number of questions I think I can even remember. Yeah, it's only a handful, but maybe even less than 10. Muhammad Saad, mashallah. Muhammad Saad, how are you? Munir Breaker, wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Mashallah, Munir. Ahlan wa sahlan. Okay, so let's have a look at the questions then. So questions. Ya Allah. Maybe today might be a bit of a chilling session. The number of questions, maybe we'll be able to chill out more. Alright, so Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Let's start then. Okay, so Salam. I understand we should have a balance of love and fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What can we do if the balance is tipped too much? I feel like I love Allah a lot, but don't have much fear. Okay, so this is a good question. So how do we tackle this kind of a question then? In other words, in Islam, we know that we should have a balance between that which is reminds us of the love of Allah, the mercy of Allah, the kindness of Allah, and we should also have it balanced with that which reminds us of the severity of the punishment of the hereafter and how Allah can punish us and Allah's justice. So how do we kind of bring a balance between these two things? Because in reality, we know that Allah is all merciful, and we know that at the same time Allah is the one that will hold you to account and will punish. So we have to have some sort of like a balance in between. So how do we strike this balance? So what we have to remember is look how the Quran approaches things. So the Quran, when it's mentioning something, it will mention about Jannah, it will mention about the reward a person gets and the drawing of Allah's mercy and kindness, and it will also mention about the Jahannam, the fire hereafter, about the account, about punishment, and what happened to those who came before. So in other words, this is in other words two sort of like they say the two wings of the bird. The two wings of Iman is balance between these two things. So a person sometimes when they read ayat, so when they read hadith regarding Allah's kindness and Allah's mercy and Allah will forgive and all that, what tends to happen is that person becomes so engrossed in Allah's mercy that all they can think about is that Allah will forgive everyone. Allah is going to forgive every individual, and therefore it kind of gives the person the misleading assumption that they can go around and do anything they want, right? So they can go around and doing anything they want. It's kind of wrong in a way, as in it's like the Christians. If you look at the Christians, it's like as long as you love God, God will forgive everyone, and it's this kind of idea that you can get away with anything you want, and then Allah's going to forgive you at the end of the day. So as a Muslim, what do you do? So you shouldn't have this extreme, and nor should you have the other extreme, which is that you only focus on those things which are the adhab and the punishments of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Jahannam. And this brings fear into a person, so much so that it makes them live a life of, like the monks, the Christian monks, they live a life of doom and gloom, and they see the dunya as an evil place, and they have to kind of always live their life in this state of simplicity and not earning or not spending on anything besides just the normal kind of food and shelter, etc., clothing. So we need to have a balance between the two. And how do we gain that balance? By reading the Quran. By reading the Quran, we gain the balance, right? Because the Quran, it contrasts the mercy of Allah with the wrath of Allah. It contrasts Jannah with Jahannam. So this is how we gain Allah. So we have to read about the stories of the past, right, in the Quran. What happened to them? Those people who were saved and given salvation, and those people who were given the punishment of Allah. Anyway, next. Alright, so this is a question regarding niqab. I've answered questions about niqab before, but this is a bit of a different one. Why was the niqab not considered sunnah according to Abu Hanifa and Malik? Now, why was the niqab not considered? Now, I wouldn't say this question is absolutely true. First of all, this would have to be proven, first of all, from the early texts that they didn't consider it to have any status. So first of all, you'd have to look at the early texts, and you'd have to find what the early Hanafi said about the woman in covering her face. There doesn't seem to be any sort of we don't seem to find any sort of a clear statement saying that women have to cover their face from the early years. What we do find is indication towards certain things that indicate that a woman should cover her face, and certain things that indicate that a woman doesn't have to cover her face, right? So you got both. So for example, like if you look in the chapters of Salat, you'll find it says badan al-mar'a kulluha awra illa wajhuha wa kaffayha, right? The face of a woman is all awra illa wajhuha wa kaffayha, except for her face and her hands. So therefore, you find this text there. But at the same time, you also find texts with regards to things like when a woman goes to Hajj, that she can use a veil to cover her over her face. And we also find texts with regards to when giving witness in court, that a man is allowed to look at a woman's face if it's for like a witnessing scenario where he has to give witness, and in order for him to give witness, he has to see the face of the woman that was involved in the case, and so forth. So we don't seem to have anything explicit to say exactly what the rule. The later Hanafis seem to be a bit more explicit about this, and like I mentioned before, this ruling of the covering of the face, it's not a ruling of awra or not. It's not a ruling of this part of the woman's body being a part of something which is a naked part of the woman, as is the hair or the neck or chest or other parts. Rather, this is something which is to do with the ruling of protecting her from people that would want to harm her, right? So they use the term fitna, or use the term fujur, yeah, and use terms like that. Okay, anyway, dear respected Mufti Saab, there is a hadith in Sunan Ibn Majah that there is narrated by Aisha radiallahu anha that any woman who gets married without a wali, her nikah is not valid, her nikah is not valid, her nikah is not valid. How do Hanafis understand this hadith? Okay, so this is a good question. So I'm going to explain this one in a bit of detail, because we don't have many questions on Curious Cat today, so I thought I'd do a bit of detailed questions for you guys, because you guys like detailed questions. Alright, so when it comes to like a particular ruling in Islam, so how do Hanafis approach particular rulings? So Imam Abu Hanifa rahimahullah's approach is that first of all he looks in the Quran. So if there is a particular issue, to find the answer he look in the Quran. If the Quran mentions the answer to that, then khalas, then we don't have to go any further. If the Quran is not clear about the ruling, then we go to the Sunnah and we look at how the Sunnah, and when we say Sunnah, we mean what's been reported from the Prophet ﷺ and from the Sahaba at a very strong level. Then we take that. And then if we don't find it in this, then we look at what the unanimous agreement of the later scholars was after the demise of the Prophet ﷺ, which we call an ijma'. And otherwise, we try to use some sort of analogy. We draw some analogy from somewhere. This is what we call the four usul, or three according to Hanafis, and the fourth one is just an extension of the three. So when it comes to issues like, for instance, ibadat, salat, zakat, hajj, fasting, etc., then the rule is that ibadat can only be proven through, can only be established through something which Allah directly tells us. Right? So for example, we cannot establish wudu, how to perform wudu, without Allah telling us. We cannot establish how to pray salat without Allah telling us. We can't like kind of get all the cleverest people in the world in a room and say to them, how would you do hajj? How would you fast? What conditions would you put? You can't do that. It has to be set from the rules and the verses and the sunnah that has been given to us. All right? So that's like the foundation, you can imagine. When it comes to mu'amalat, on the other hand, when it comes to dealings with other people, like buying and selling, marriage, this is something which, because humans have always been doing since the time of the first humans on earth, then this, you can use social sort of norms, convention can be used as a measure for that. So this is why, for example, when the Prophet ﷺ came, he didn't tell everyone to renew all their marriages. Whoever got married before, their marriages were considered to be valid. All right? So when Islam came, it wasn't like, let's say, all the Sahaba, the Prophet ﷺ said to them, renew all your marriages again. That wasn't the case, right? In fact, the Prophet ﷺ, he allowed their marriages, as long as the marriage was not a categorically impermissible marriage in Islam. Like, for example, marrying more than 4 wives. The Prophet ﷺ, there was a man who had 10 wives, and the Prophet ﷺ told him that he's not allowed to have 10. Right? He can only have maximum 4, so he has to divorce 6 of them. Or, for example, like marrying, let's say, for example, a person marrying their sister, right? Or, incest, or their parents, and so forth. Those are like prohibited. So when it comes to, for example, like the issue of the marriage, so because the Hanafis take the approach of look at the Quran first. So in the Quran, does Allah allows marriage, but then it's like prohibition now. So we look at the Quran to find if there is any prohibition in the Quran. So when it comes to mu'amalat, it's more like we're looking at what we're not supposed to do. So the default is everything's allowed, all transactions are allowed, all marriages are allowed, except for the ones the Quran and the Sunnah prohibit. Right? That's how we kind of go about it. So when it comes to a woman marrying without, like, does a woman need the permission of her parents to get married? So everyone agrees that a man doesn't need the permission of his parents. But the question comes, does a woman need the permission of her parents? So the Quran doesn't seem to prohibit this, right? So the Quran doesn't seem to say, no, she needs the permission of her parents. It doesn't say that. In fact, the Hanafis say the Quran indicates that marriage is, Abu Hanifa says actually, that marriage is a right of a woman, just like it's a right of a man. In other words, a man and a woman are equal when it comes to the rights of who they want to get married to, and therefore they don't need to get permission from anyone, right? Just like a woman or a man does not need to get permission to buy and sell, and they don't need to get permission to own anything, right? They don't have to get permission to get married. So the Imam Abu Hanifa rahimahullah uses some verses in the Quran where Allah uses the verb which is attributed to a woman. Yeah, hatta tankiha zawjan ghayra, until she marries another man. Right, so they say Abu Hanifa rahimahullah indicates this is indication towards what we were just saying. As for the ahadith, so the Hanafis have a rule where they say that if there is a narration, and this narration is a what we call khabar wahid, it's not a very strong narration. So it may come in Bukhari, it may come in Muslim, that doesn't matter, but it's not strong transmission as the Quran. So because it's not strong transmission of the Quran, it can't be used to restrict a ruling that's mentioned in the Quran. So for example, because in the Quran Allah does not prohibit a woman from getting married without the permission of her parents, and there is indication in the Quran that a woman is allowed to get married by, just like I gave the ayah. So they say you cannot use a hadith to interpret that. You can't use a hadith to alter that, right? That would not be allowed according to Hanafis, because then the question is that this idea of altering the Quran, we don't want to fall into the realm of distorting the divine texts like the Jews of Bani Israel did, right? Where they would distort their texts by changing the meanings of the text based upon their religious scholars' verdicts. So that's what we don't want to do. So this is why Abu Hanifa rahimahullah, he says that the hadith that's been quoted here, it's not just in Ibn Majah, it's in many other books as well, that whichever woman gets married without the permission of her wali, then her nikah is batil. So the Hanafis say that this hadith is conflicting with the Quran. Yeah, and because it conflicts with the Quran, therefore either we take what the hadith says or we don't take what the Quran says. So we believe that the Quran is stronger than the khabar wahid hadith, and that's why Abu Hanifa takes this. Whereas his students, they actually disagree with Abu Hanifa on this masala, and they actually say that the woman should get permission, as it is something which will stop the men from abusing the rights of women. So because many men, what happens is they may lure a woman into thinking that they're ready to marry her, and then when it comes time to marrying her, they marry her and they treat her really harshly. And the idea of the wali, the Hanafis say, even Abu Hanifa says this, the idea of the wali is to preserve the rights of women. It's as though like the father will know what a man is like. So if the girl comes home one day and says, Dad, I want to get married to this guy, the father will find out about this guy and he'll know what kind of guy this guy is, right? And then he'll kind of just say, you know what, it's good, marry him. Or he might say, you know what, you don't know what this guy gets up to. He's just saying nice, pretty words to you now, but when he gets married to you and he's married to you for 2 or 3 years, this guy's not going to treat you well. I can tell, right? So this is why the Hanafis say that the rights of the wali are there. Okay, anyway, that's done. Let's go to another one then. Right, next question. Okay, actually, let me answer some of your questions on here. I don't want to skank you guys, like they say. All right. Muni's got a question about Quran. Okay, fun. And what are your thoughts on coronavirus? My thoughts are your thoughts. Yeah, whatever you guys see on the media is what I see on the media. So may Allah help all the Muslims around the world and all the people, whether Muslim or not. May Allah make it easy for everyone. It's not a nice thing to kind of see your family, friends, and ill, and especially with the elderly and vulnerable people. So when you guys ask me what's my thoughts, if you ask me my thoughts on a particular fiqh issue, I can tell you. But if you ask me something like what's your thoughts on the weather, or what's your thoughts on economy, or what's your thoughts on this, I'll only give you an answer as best as I've seen it on the media. Okay, next, chasing supercars. Why don't you raise your hands before ruku in salah? Please address the many hadith that talk about the raising of the hands. It was abrogated. Give the hadith abrogation from. Okay, this is a good question. So basically, when it comes to the raising of the hands, first of all, according to let's look at the facts first of all. So the facts. So number one, all of the 4 madhabs, none of them say that it's necessary. Right? All 4 madhabs, Malikis, Hanbalis, Hanafis, Shafis, they all say it's either good, it's better to do, or it's better not to do. That's all they say. None of the 4 madhabs say that it's something which is wrong, as in your salat will be invalid, None of them say that your salat will not be done or will be done, etc. It's all a matter of what is better. Is it better to do it or better not to do it? That's the first fact. The second fact is that we have narrations which say that the Prophet ﷺ did it, and we have narrations that say the Prophet ﷺ didn't do it. Right? So we have two types of narrations. The third fact is that we have no statement from the Prophet ﷺ himself telling anyone to raise or raise their hands. Or we have no narration from the Prophet ﷺ saying to not raise your hands. All right. So therefore, okay. So we've got those facts. All right. We've got fourth fact here, which is according to the Malikis. Right. According to the Malikis, many of them said that most of the scholars in Medina did not used to raise their hands. So in the time, the children of the Sahaba, their children, most of the people never used to raise their hands. According to the scholars of Kufa, majority of the tabi'in of the Kufa and the tabi' tabi'in of the Kufa, they didn't used to raise their hands. Right, so you got a whole two cities, a lot of them didn't raise their hands. Mecca was a split. Some people raised their hands, some people didn't raise their hands. So now when we look at this issue, the question that should come to our minds is, there's about 5 or 6 Sahaba who narrate the raising of the hands. All of them are young Sahaba. Right? We don't get it from Umar, we don't get it from Abu Bakr, we don't get it from Uthman or Ali, we don't get it from the senior Sahaba, we only get it from the young Sahaba. So now that should make us think, if Salat was prayed 5 times a day and raising and lowering of the hands was considered to be important, so much so that it was done 5 times a day, and in every Salat the Sahaba would have seen the Prophet ﷺ keep raising his hands before and after ruku, then it makes us think that how comes we don't have like 50 Sahaba narrating it? How comes we don't have lots of Sahaba narrating it? So that's why the Hanafis say that because there's all these discrepancies in the narrations, or young Sahaba narrating. In fact, one of the main narrators who narrates it, Ibn Umar, on many occasions he didn't do it himself. Right? He stopped doing it himself. So this is why, like Sheikh Yusuf Banuri in the commentary of Ma'rif al-Sunan, and many others also have mentioned this as well, that this indicates that this seemed to be something done in the beginning of Islam, but then later on we don't seem to find many other people doing it. So yes, my teacher Sheikh Abdul Rauf Ghazni, when we did Tirmidhi, he said, look, it's fine to do and it's fine not to do, but what's better according to Hanafis, better not to do it. This is why he said if you go to a Shafi mosque, you do it, right? And if you go to Hanafi mosque, don't do it. So this is how we kind of combine the understanding of this. So it's not like a ruling with regards to that it's right or it's wrong per se. Hope that answers the question. Okay, Munir Breaker. The Quran was revealed in the month of Ramadan, but our Prophet ﷺ revealed it through several years. Could you explain? Well, yeah, good question this is. So when it comes to the revelation of the Quran, the thing about this is that Allah says in the Quran, Inna anzalnahu fi laylatil qadr. Indeed, we sent down the Quran on the night of power, the night of Qadr. So we sent it down on the night of Qadr means that we sent it down on a particular night which we call Laylatul Qadr. But what does it mean that it was sent down on this night? So the scholars differ in this matter. Some say that it was sent down as in its sending down was started. Like the revelation of the Quran started on Laylatul Qadr. That's when it started. Others argue that no, Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu narrated, he said the entire Quran was transferred from the Lawh al-Mahfuz, right, to this world. So it was like kind of transferred, like downloaded, you can say in today's terms. It was downloaded from the Lawh al-Mahfuz into this dunya. And then over 23 years from this dunya, wherever it was slowly revealed to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, verse by verse, right, in that fashion. That's how it was revealed. So this is why we have this like 2 different meanings of revelation. Hope that makes sense. Okay, SMB wa alaikum assalam. Angela Smith, ahlan wa sahlan, marhaban, welcome. SMB, if you read the translation of an ayah that has sajda tilawah, do you still have to do sajda tilawah? There's a difference of opinion amongst Hanafis. So Imam Abu Hanifa rahimahullah's opinion, according to that, many of the Hanafis say you should, but according to Abu Yusuf rahimahullah, you shouldn't. So I would say that you don't have to do it, right, in that sense. If you take the position of Abu Yusuf, as in if it's something which, however, if you want to be safe, it's better to take Abu Hanifa's position, and every time you read it, you just have to do sajda tilawah later on. You don't have to do it immediately. So for example, let's say you read it at work, you don't have to do sajda tilawah there. You can do sajda tilawah later on in the day when you're going to pray your salat. After you pray your salat, you can just do your sajda at that moment. So that'll be fine. Is the sufa closed this Monday? No, it's not. It's open, to my knowledge. I think an announcement has been sent out, emailed to all the students, with regards to those who are showing signs of coronavirus or any coughing, etc. They should abstain from attending. Okay, Muhammad Saad, a question regarding karaha tahrimi. I know that doing a makruh tahrimi act in salah requires redoing the salah, but what if it's done unintentionally and one remembers before salam? Yeah, if a person does a makruh tahrimi act in salat, explain what kind of makruh tahrimi act a person does. Yeah. If a person does a makruh tahrimi act in salat, unintentionally, depends exactly what kind of. So if you can explain that one. Do you make it up with sajda sahu because it's kind of leaving out a wajib, or do you just complete it? So if you can explain what kind of makruh tahrimi, then I can tell you. Okay, Ammar Patel, Maulana, where did you become Fariq? I became Fariq from Karachi, Banuri town. Yeah, so in Banuri town, not Banuriya, Jamia Banuriya is a different one. Banuri town, New Town, Guru Mandar. Okay, is Dragon Ball haram? Dragon Ball, I don't know. Is that a cartoon or something? Yeah, is that a cartoon? Dragon Ball, I'm not sure. I've heard of it. Okay, Ammar Patel, I am currently studying Quduri in Darul Uloom. So what books do you think I should read to enhance my knowledge? Is Lubab a good book for me to read? Yeah, definitely Lubab is a very good book. With Quduri, I think there's a book called Al-Fiqh al-Hanafi wa Adillatuhu by Dr. As'ad Saghurji. And he's also got another book, I think a shorter book, Al-Fiqh al-Aysar or something like that. It's a shorter book. So you can read that. Very, very good. Very easy to follow. Okay. ND Quos, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Tell me please, what's the significance of reciting Fatiha in dreams? May Allah reward you. Reading Fatiha in dreams, I don't exactly know the answer to reading Fatiha in dreams, but it's good. Reading Quran in your dream is a very good sign. Alhamdulillah, mashallah. So if you're reading Quran in your dream, Alhamdulillah, excellent. Isa Ahmed, coronavirus. Can I buy non-halal beef jerky from Tesco? If shops run out of the situation becomes bad, we will need meat that will not spoil. Jerky can even be eaten uncooked. I don't think you're gonna need to eat haram meat. Yeah, because there's lots of other things that you can eat. You can buy canned food, you can buy vegetables, there's lots of other things. Yeah, so in the UK definitely the situation hasn't become that bad. Yeah, there's other places available as well. So no, you wouldn't be allowed. What is Deobandi? So Deobandi simply is Deoband is a location, is a city in India, and over there's a famous madrasa that was set up in the time of the colonialists, the British colony, and this madrasa was set up to protect the sciences of the Muslims, and anyone who studied there was basically known as someone who studied in Deoband. So that's what it means. And then therefore there was branches of that madrasa that spread across the world, and people began to use the same syllabus that they had and the same methodology of teaching. And so anyone who graduated from there would technically be known as a Deobandi, as in he studied, like an Oxford University for example. So imagine someone studied in Oxford, you'd call them Oxfordy. Or there's branches of Oxford and someone studied in one of the branches, you'd call them Oxfordies. And if there was a Cambridge University branches, you'd say this guy's a Cambridgee. That's what it means. It's nothing that special. It's nothing unique that they've got special beliefs or they've got different fiqh. It's got nothing to do with that. It's just to do with where they studied. Okay, let's look at this one then. Alright, so okay, here's a question. Is astronomical calculations for moon sightings allowed? Do you mean replace the eye sighting? So astronomical sightings, according to majority of scholars, astronomical sightings cannot replace the moon sighting itself. Majority of scholars say this. Astronomical sightings can be used to calculate whether the moon will be able to be seen or not. Right? So for example, if you have those moon charts, those kind of curves, you can use those to work out whether the moon can be seen. So if they show that the moon cannot be seen, many scholars say you can trust that and say that the moon will not be seen. All right, so you can use it for that way, but you can't do like predictions for the next 2 or 3 or 10 or 15 years that the moon will be seen on these dates. So you have to still use the eyesight. There's actually a good article written on this by Sheikh Hamza Yusuf. Yeah, it's called, if you can Google it, it's called the something, the crescent. I think it's called the premature crescent or something like that. If you check on one of his sites, you'll find it. He's got an article about the moon. It's very detailed. Yeah, it's very good. I remember reading it maybe about 10 years ago, 15 years ago. Yeah. I forgot what it's called now. The something moon. Has such a unique name as well. Can't remember now. Skip my mind. But yeah, check that one out. Okay, Assalamu alaikum. I have a couple of questions on Sajda Tilawah. Please, if you can answer them. Okay, so these are 5 questions on Sajda Tilawah. So I'm going to answer each one. Is Sajda Tilawah wajib if you listen to an ayah of Sajda live, but through a live online session? Yes. Yeah, it's necessary. So if you hear it live, whether it's live through some means, like a microphone or something, or internet, or whether it's live as in you're hearing it, it's necessary. If it's heard on a recording I'm listening to, is it necessary? No, it's not necessary. Yeah, so it's not necessary if you hear it on a recording. What if I hear the ayah of Sajda by someone, yet I can't translate it? So if you don't know if it's an ayah of Sajda, you don't have to do it. So like, let's say someone is reading Quran, but you didn't know it was ayah Sajda, don't have to do it. Does the whole ayah need to be recited? Yes, you have to recite the whole ayah for the Sajda Tilawah. Is ayah of Sajda wajib if I read or hear the ayats English translation but not the Arabic? Yeah, so answer that one. Yeah, so if a person hears the ayah, they don't have to do it if it's in another language. But if a person reads the ayah, like I said, there's ikhtilaf in that issue. Yeah. Okay. All right, next. Random question. I was wondering about if someone dies of a contagious disease which can spread, how do you do the ghusl? In this kind of situation, you can do, for example, like ghusl by maybe using a shower head, right? You don't have to go near the body. And if it's really bad, then, and a person can't go near the body, you don't have to do the ghusl of it. Yeah, so you don't have to do ghusl of such. Okay, so alhamdulillah, all the questions are finished. MashaAllah. Okay, alright. Let's check out your questions then. Alright, so look at that. In half an hour, all the Curious Cat questions are finished. 9:30. And all the Curious Cat questions are over. Alright, so let's check out these ones then. Okay. Assalamu alaikum Idris Shah. Ahlan wa sahlan marhaban. Which surahs coming in the exam? All of the surahs. All the ones that we done. Do you know when you pray your qada prayer, do you have to pray your fard only for qada? Yes, only fard. Dragon Ball is a Japanese fighting anime. Okay. Muhammad Saad, for example, fixing one's clothing or praying near a picture, isn't there a general principle regarding this mas'ala? Yeah, so if it's just light fixing of the clothing, it's not really a major thing, then it's fine. It won't be considered. But if it's amal kathir meaning it's not for islah of salat, it's not for the rectification of your salat, yeah, then it would be considered to be problematic. Like for example, if a person was just doing it for no reason, just taking off their coat, putting their coat on, that would obviously be makruh tahrimi for no reason. As for praying near a picture, if it's a picture that's revered, it's honored, it's respected, the Hanafis say that the salat is considered makruh tahrimi, has to be repeated. But if it's not for reverence, if the picture's on the floor and it's not that you don't do sajda on it, then it's fine, salat will be valid. Okay, CSDF, can you do a list of books for beginner, intermediate, advanced students? You mentioned quite a bit of books on question answers. So what kind of topic? If you can give me like a topic or something, a subject. Hussein ibn Ali, according to Salafi scholars, the meat of Ahlul Kitab is permissible to eat. Okay. Amar Patel, if one has an implant, does he have to have it removed before his burial? And is this correct that a silver or goldish tooth will have to be removed? Okay, if one has an implant, does he have to remove before his burial? Ideally, yes. It should be, these kind of things should be removed if they can easily be removed, and if they can't be removed, then no. Yeah. So if they can't be removed, then no. Okay. Okay. Okay, next. Sayyid Waqar Shah, can you work for an administration that oppresses your people, like Kashmir working for Indian government? It depends what kind of job it is. Is Dars in Islamic curriculum relevant for modern world, or do we need to upgrade our curriculum? So, okay, so let's go back to this then. So, is Dars in Islamic curriculum relevant for modern world, or do we need upgrade of our curriculum? So, see, Dars in Islamic curriculum, there's no such thing as a fixed Dars in Islamic curriculum. This is like a misunderstanding people have. Dars in Islamic curriculum, there has never been a fixed Dars in Islamic curriculum. Dars in Islamic curriculum, the real Dars in Islamic curriculum that was in the time of the Mughal Empire, it was a very, very sophisticated syllabus. It had like GCSE, A levels, all these kind of subjects. You had all those mathematics, sciences in there as well. So when we say Dars in Nizami, I think what you mean is like in some Darul Ulooms, when they have a type of like a type of syllabus. Yeah, so I think that's what you're probably referring to. And definitely, yes, syllabuses have to be updated all the time. Yeah, syllabuses, just like schools continuously have updated syllabuses. Yeah, so they're always changing them. They always have like monitoring boards that are always looking at how they can improve them. They've always been doing it. Yeah, so definitely, I think they should. And like I mentioned last week, if you remember, I mentioned that Sufa is in the process at the moment of writing up a new syllabus. Yeah, it's going to take a few years, but inshallah we should have a good syllabus. I've been trying to find your video where you talk about your dream of seeing the Prophet ﷺ. Could you please repeat it? Very inspiring to hear. Inshallah, if I get time at the end, if you remind me, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum. Why now? I hope you're doing well. I was taught that it's impermissible to cut nails and hair during the first 10 days of Dhul-Hijjah, even if you're not. So, yeah, so it's a good rule. This is a good question. According to Hanafis, it's not impermissible. It's actually preferred not to cut it if you're going to slaughter an animal. So, in the first 10 days of Dhul-Hijjah, trying to imitate the Hajis is a very good thing. So, if you are going to slaughter, then it's good not to cut your nails and hair. It's good, as in you won't be sinful if you did it, but it's just something recommended. That's what it is. That's it. So it's not something which is sinful or anything. It's just something which is good, recommended thing to do. Yeah, but simply because the official ruling of not cutting your hair and nails is for someone who's in the state of ihram, meaning someone who's in Hajj. So people who are not in Hajj, therefore imitation of them is not necessary. It's just recommended. Caesarean moon births. Yes, that's the one. Caesarean moon births. Yeah, so it's a very good one. Okay, can Quran be played in high-speed playback when listening on MP3 player? Would it be considered disrespectful? I mean, as long as you can understand, the idea of playing Quran is so that you can listen to it and you can contemplate it and you can, like that. So as long as you can understand it, I mean, I play Husari at speed I think sometimes 1.6, 1.7 speed, because he's so slow in his recitation that I like listening to him in a bit of fast speed. So as long as you can listen to it, I don't see any problem. Islam rewards. Assalamu alaikum. What is the ruling on life insurance, especially as one who may be ill and has substantial debt which can be paid with insurance, which will help his family and friends after his passing away? Yeah, so I mean, life insurance, according to the scholars, is not allowed. Generally, according to scholars, is not allowed. People have debts, obviously. What I would say is maybe you need to speak to a scholar regarding your special circumstances. So maybe if a person has special circumstances and they speak to a scholar, that's the whole point of getting a fatwa. That you speak to a scholar, you ask him, specific circumstances, and that he can give a tailored answer. But generally, no, wouldn't be allowed, right? Because death is going to come to everyone, and people in the past had debts as well, right? And it's something which it's in the hands of Allah. Your death is. So we have to have this understanding of tawakkul. We have to have this understanding of making preparations as well. And life insurance, there's no guarantee that anything's going to happen to you. That money's going to go to waste as well. What is the rule on satar for men while praying? So that for men, so I've done this in my Quduri videos. So if you watch my Quduri videos, I mentioned it's from the navel to the knees. That's the area that must be covered. Okay, Andy, assalamu alaikum again. I pray Jummah in different mosques because I'm a student and I can't go to my hometown every Friday. Most of the mosques I've been praying have different ways to pray. Alhamdulillah. And sometimes it affects me. What can I do? Yeah, all the methods of praying are fine. All methods of praying are fine. They're established from the Sahaba, and that's enough for us. So if Sahaba have done something, that's enough for us, inshallah. Question: is music haram? So I think I've answered this before. This is if you check my other live streams for this, I gave a detailed answer. But in summary, that music which contains haram words, that music which contains like rude words, that music which contains things which are fahisha, things which are of a sexual nature, and a woman's voice, you can't listen to those, right? That music which is just a melodious tone without any instruments, everyone agrees you can do that. The ikhtilaf comes in using musical instruments, with a melodious tone, right? So there's an ikhtilaf there. Okay, CSDF, wa alaikum assalam. For application of your 17 lessons rule, do you have Word documents of Quran where rules can be found and highlighted? Are you on the course? If you're on the course, if you speak to the TAs, they might have one. Is rule highlighted with English translations, some for of rule? Yeah, so if you speak to the TAs, they should be able to help you in that. Assalamu alaikum. Can I listen to classical music where there is no bad words in there? Some of the scholars have allowed that. Yeah, some scholars have allowed that kind of. Is that your niece in the background? That's my nephew. Yeah, nephew he's banging on my door. He wants to come in, so I can't let him in because he's like the cat basically. He's just gonna run around, making noise. Yeah, he's gonna want to write here, and then I won't be able to answer your questions, and then it's gonna be Qiyamah. Okay, how was Bradford? I haven't been Bradford recently, but yeah, alhamdulillah, last time I went was very good, very nice, mashallah. Salams, not sure if it has been asked before. What is the relevance of 786 regarding Islam? No relevance at all. 786 is as relevant as the moon and star on the Pakistan flag. Yeah, so the moon and star on the Pakistan flag has no relevance with Islam. Likewise, 786 has no relevance with Islam. It's just, I think 786 is just like, I think because Bismillah contains 7 letters, Ar-Rahman contains 8 letters, and Ar-Rahim contains 6 letters. 786. So because they didn't want to write Bismillah and everything, because many people found it to be, disrespectful, so they just wrote, okay, 786, like 7 Bismillah. I think that's how it works out. I'm not sure. Okay. Next. Assalamu alaikum S. Hussein. Ahlan wa sahlan. Adam Saeed. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Is it permissible to take Islamic mortgage? It depends. What you mean by Islamic mortgage. So if you can mention to me how the Islamic mortgage works, I can tell you from my understanding of whether it would be allowed in the Hanafi madhab or not. So Islamic mortgage is not like one product. Islamic mortgage is like an umbrella term, and there's lots and lots of different types of ways that it can be done. So when you say Islamic mortgage, you have to say which one. It's like saying, is a burger allowed? Are you allowed to eat a burger? So burger is a term, and there's different types of burgers, right? So different varieties of burgers. The reason I said burgers is because today I had a burger. Let him in, please. Just say hello. Only for 2 minutes. No, he's gone anyway now. Muhammad Uddin, how does Hanafi Hadith curriculum differ from others? Hanafi Hadith curriculum. I don't know what you mean by that. If you can elaborate more. Pakistan being the fort of Islam, our flag has every relevance. I mean, okay, mashallah, flag has every relevance, but I don't see what the star and the moon has to do with it. Yeah. Why don't they have like a full moon? Why do they have a crescent? What's the crescent supposed to resemble? Hey Hussein, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Okay, mashallah. Some of you guys got some funny questions on Curious Cat. Okay, there's no questions there then. Idris Shah, is hadith only graded by Imam Bukhari and Sheikh Albani? No. So the science of hadith, I really want to do a whole series on hadith. Inshallah, I'm going to do one. But the science of hadith is a very, very interesting science, right? And inshallah, usually when I teach my students science of usul hadith, we cover my notes on usul hadith. So I have my own notes that I go through. And then we cover Nukhbat al-Fikr, and then we cover Muqaddim Salah, and maybe some other texts on the side as well. By the time you finish Nukhbat al-Fikr, by the time our students finish Nukhbat al-Fikr, they can start understanding how to grade hadith themselves, right? So they get the skill to be able to go through books, find a particular hadith, research where that hadith and all its versions are found, collect them all, and then go through each sanad chain, and then find what the scholars have said about each individual, and then find the different gradings of that hadith, and then they can see who has come out with which opinion. So you get this idea. So for common person, I mean, it's like, for instance, like, for us, when someone, let's say, talks about let's say, I don't know, some sports or something, and the only sort of like commentary you get is from a handful of individuals in the UK. It doesn't mean that their commentary is the only commentary which is accepted, right? So there could be lots of people who commentate on hadith, on football. So likewise, hadith, Sheikh Albani, he was an individual, and today you have other people as well in the world who grade hadith. You had people in the past, in the early years, who used to grade hadith as well. So the science of grading hadith is a science in itself. It's not necessarily dependent upon an individual. Yeah, it's dependent upon a dalil of grading it. Okay, is not wearing topi in salah makruh? So the according to the Hanafis, basically, the ayah of the Quran where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, خُذُوا زِينَتَكُمْ عِنْدَ كُلِّ masjid, that adorn yourself when you're praying salat, right? So adorn yourself, the Hanafis say, means the clothing that you'd wear in public outside, you should wear that when you're praying your salat. So in them days, in the early days, the clothing was 3 pieces of clothing: a top, trousers, and covering the head. So this is why in them days, Hanafis in the text would say things like, a person it's makruh for a person to pray without a topi on their head, hat on their head. And Abu Hanifa rahimahullah says that if a person prays without a hat, with the intention of humbling himself to Allah, like showing his disheveled condition, then this is a good thing. This is actually more rewarding, right? So he allows that. But in today's times, can you go out in the streets and go to work or go to wherever, school or wherever, without a hat on your head? Would you feel comfortable? And if you do feel comfortable, then you can pray salat in that way, right? So the idea is, what can you wear outside? That's the whole idea. Okay, can you pray seated in your car if you got nowhere to pray, else pray? I mean, if it's nafal, yes, you can. Nafal, you can pray if you're outside the city, Hanafi say. Farad, no. Unless it's really dire conditions where there's really nowhere else to pray, then yes. Yeah, so if there's like really nowhere else to pray, I mean, if there is somewhere on the side of car park that you can pray in, then you should pray there. Crescent is one of the sha'air of Islam. Allahu Akbar. So the sun is a sha'air as well of Islam. Are you saying it because it comes in the Quran? Then the sun is a sha'air of Islam because we pray our 5 times salat around the sun. So how comes the Pakistan flag doesn't have a sun? Then the full moon is a sha'air of Islam. Why not? Why a crescent? Then the seas are a sha'air of Islam. The winds are a sha'air of Islam because of the mercy of Allah. So if you're going to make the sha'air of Islam anything that comes in fiqh, books of fiqh, The Kaaba is a sha'ir of Islam. Why do you have the Kaaba on the flag? Yeah, so it's not a sha'ir of Islam per se. Okay, next. What is your opinion on plucking or trimming one's monobrow and facial? So I don't have an opinion, but I can tell you what the Hanafis say. The Hanafis say it's fine. You can remove all the hair between your eyebrows. It's totally permissible. It's fine. Some modernist scholars are refuting miracles of Prophet ﷺ from hadith based on weak hadith. Is there any basis for this reasoning? So I mean, this kind of concept goes into the idea of understanding how hadith work and understanding what miracles mean. So again, I think I've explained this previously in previous live streams in a lot of detail. But the gist of it basically is that whenever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala used to send a prophet, then for people to accept the message of the prophet, Allah would give the prophet, the individual particular prophet, he'd give him some sort of like a sign to show that his message is truly from Allah. It's not just like a random, it's not just like a random thing. So basically what would happen is that, for example, like Salih alayhi salam had the camel of Salih, Musa alayhi salam had the staff, etc. And the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam had the Quran. So no one disagrees that the Quran is the miracle of Islam, the timeless miracle of Islam. The issue comes with regards to those miracles. And when we say miracle, we mean something which other humans at that particular time in history were incapable of repeating. So those things that humans were incapable of repeating at that particular time, those were known as the time-bound miracles. So those people who deny miracles, they deny the time-bound miracles. And their argument is basically that they haven't been reported to us in a way which is definite 100%. Yeah, they're not reported to us by mutawatir narrations, basically. Like it hasn't been reported to us like the Quran's been reported to us. So therefore, why do you have to believe in it for? Especially if it's causing a lot of people to kind of like have doubt and confusion about Islam in trying to believe these miracles. And the other argument that they use is that maybe these kind of things could be explained in some other way, right? I mean, they're not very strong arguments. And the counter argument would basically be is that the Prophet ﷺ performing miracles. When we say miracle, like nowadays, if a child was cured, let's say of coronavirus, it comes in a newspaper, miracle child is cured of coronavirus. That's not a miracle in Islam. When we say miracle, we mean i'jaz. I'jaz means when someone is incapable, humans are incapable of doing that thing. It's out of human capacity, basically. That's what basically, when we say miracle, that's what we mean. But in like modern terms, when we say miracles, it was a miracle that the earth was saved, or it was a miracle that this mosque is still standing after the earthquake. That's not a miracle, right? That's just something which is very unlikely to happen. Have you got that? Okay. Is doing tawassul through the Prophet ﷺ okay? Yes, there's nothing wrong, according to majority of scholars. Nothing wrong with it. Have you seen viral videos of birds doing tawaf? Yeah, I've seen that. You know what? Muslims, I mean, unfortunately, I have to say this. A lot of social media Muslims are very, very naive. And they like the Coca-Cola ones and the fruit cutting ones and the cloud, seeing the ayats in the cloud ones, right? For Muslims, unfortunately, anything that seems very, very special and magical, right, they think it to be a sign of Islam. Cut a fruit, you see the word Allah inside of it, Allahu Akbar. This is the biggest sign that Islam is true, right? These kind of things are not signs of Islam at all. These are just simply people. Most of these people, they don't really have a very good understanding of Islam. They haven't studied Islam at a very good level. I mean, if you look at that video with the birds flying, yeah, birds fly everywhere. I mean, some birds they hover around certain areas. It's natural, right? So first of all, if you want to see if that video is a miracle, find all other bird videos around the world where birds fly around something. Number two is that if you ever been and done tawaf, tawaf goes anti-clockwise. But if you see that video, the birds are going clockwise. Yeah, they're going the other way around. So what does that mean then? And you know, like some people will come out with some strange things like everything does tawaf around the Kaaba, even the sun does tawaf around the Kaaba, and you know, Nuh alayhi salam's boat done tawaf around the Kaaba. It's like a very weak, and some people say it's a fabricated. Allah says it's a fabricated narration that Nuh alayhi salam's boat done tawaf around the Kaaba, stuff like that. So I think it's just something which, you know, Muslims use these evidences just like Christians use these evidences. Like Christians will find an image that looks like, you know, Mary, the Virgin Mary, in a toast, and say, "Khalas, this is a sign that Christianity is true." Or they'll find like a crisp that's in the shape of Jesus's face, and they'll say, "Oh, this is you know, this is a sign that it's true." And Hindus will find a statue that is, you know, drinking the water. And so all these are not signs. These are just, I think these are just things that people want to make a sign. They want these kind of things to be like part of Islam. People kind of like, and a lot of people are using coronavirus. They're like hijacking coronavirus and they're making a sign of Islam. They're making all of this. MashaAllah, H. Hussein, Jazakumullah khair for your donation. Jazakumullah khair. Allahu Akbar. Alhamdulillah. May Allah reward you. May Allah give you barakah. May Allah save you from coronavirus and your loved ones. May Allah save all of you guys, by the way. All of us. Yeah, so I think these kind of things, we have to be very careful. We have to be, I think we need to be two things, sophisticated and mature when it comes to Islam. I mean, I've never heard of a narration where a Sahabi's cut a fruit or opened a date and he's seen the name of Allah and that's it, Allahu Akbar. We don't find that. We don't find these kind of like, we never heard a Sahabi look at birds and say these birds are going around the Kaaba. You know, if it was something that's a sign of Islam, don't you think it would have been in the time of the Prophet ﷺ? I mean, I'm sure it would have been then. Why does it just have to be now for in this? So now if we find birds tomorrow hovering around a Hindu temple, now does that mean, right, that their religion is true? No, it doesn't. And likewise, some people say birds never go over the Kaaba. I mean, have you done studies of this? Have you put, you know, equipment there? Have you measured if any bird do go over that? Or are you just guessing? Yeah, it's a sad thing. So like I said, unfortunately, many of us, you know, social media Muslims, unfortunately, are very naive. And, you know, my mum, she's like this. She just sends me all these kind of strange things. You know, that the girl who didn't pray her Isha, and in the morning she turned into a fish. Allahu Akbar. That's a sign that Islam is true. And yeah, it's just the tree that's doing ruku. They see it. There's a tree somewhere. I don't know where it is, in Australia or New Zealand somewhere. And it's like, it looks like a human doing ruku, and that's a sign. That has to be a sign Islam is true. Yeah, Allahu Akbar. Tree doing ruku. Yeah. Okay. All right. So next, Ammar Patel. What books do you recommend on Arabi Dome students to study? So what do you study in Arabi Dome? What kind of books? Do you study Kuduri? What else do you study? Why now? We have finished early. Can we please have a book review? Inshallah. Idris Shah, does Khabar Wahid mean that the hadith is narrated by one narrator only? No. Khabar Wahid is a term that's used for any narration that doesn't reach the level of mutawatir and mashhur. So any hadith that doesn't reach the definition of mutawatir and mashhur is called a Khabar Wahid. So innamal a'malu binniyat, all actions are by intentions. This is a Khabar Wahid. Yeah, very common. Most hadith in Bukhari, Muslim, Tirmidhi are Khabar Wahids. Most of them are. What book did you study in Arabi Dome? So in Arabi Dome, I studied in 2001 Arabi Dome. So I studied Kuduri, I studied Juz Amma, Safat al-Tafasir, I studied Qira'at al-Rashida, I studied, what else was it? Can't remember the books I studied now. It's a long time. What else was it? Fiqh, Adab, Tajweed, yeah. So we said a book called Al-Burhan fi Tajweed. And we also studied, do we study Hadith book? Yeah, so we studied Sarf. Yeah, Al-Musiqa. Yeah, so those are the ones that we studied. Okay. Is Dajjal going to perform miracles? So again, the issue of the Dajjal. I mean, I've actually made a video. I've done a video on Dajjal in my YouTube channel. You can check that out. So the narrations seem to indicate that Dajjal is going to be doing things that are going to be shocking the world. So to say that they are miracles per se, we can't say. We don't exactly know exactly what kind of things he's going to do. Like, for example, the Prophet ﷺ has mentioned things that are going to happen in the future. And when he said them to the Sahaba, they sounded like things that no human can do. But when the time comes, like now, when times come, we can see how these things are not miracles. Like, for example, someone communicating with another person on the other side of the world without them seeing each other. This is something which is a normal thing, day-to-day thing. It's not a miracle anymore. Yeah, so when the Dajjal perform miracles, so in that sense, I would say no. He's not going to perform miracles. From what I understand is when Dajjal comes, the actions that he's going to do are things which a believer sees, and a believer is going to know this is not from Allah. This is something which is totally man-made. Muhammad Uddin, can you do videos on different qira'at in the Quran? I always thought that the Quran was the same everywhere, but I'm finding it confusing and how it's different in places. Okay, so I'm not a qari. I haven't done any specialization course in qira'at, so I wouldn't be able to explain qira'at to you in that sense. But I can do just generally just going through the concept of qira'at in Islam. Yeah, I can do that, inshallah. What's your view on Yuval Harari book on Homos Deus? Quite scary insight from the author. Yeah, I mean, he is an atheist, so you're going to expect him to write very strange things. Yeah, so he doesn't believe in God and these concepts. So yeah, I mean, some of the things that he mentions, I think, are very eye-opening. As in, he's basically like kind of just forecasting what direction the world's going to take. That's what he's doing. And by looking at how humans are going to, be taken over by artificial intelligence, right? This is something that we all have to think about, because if you think about it now, we never imagined that the whole earth can come to a standstill, and all of a sudden coronavirus within a matter of a few months, it's just shown the whole world that the world is nothing. All the economies are nothing. The societies are nothing. The sports are nothing. All the money is nothing, right? Because all of this can just, within a few months, all the economies can crash. That's the biggest fear, that all the economies can crash. And once all the economies crash, you're gonna have, mayhem. You're not gonna have any. You're gonna have lawlessness, and it's just, people are just gonna be, trying to survive. So this is the biggest fear that a lot of these governments have. That's why they're attempting to, shut down for 2 weeks or a month or 2 months, because they know the economical effect it can have on the country can be devastating, can destroy a whole economy. Okay. Jazakallah khair. Okay. Ammar Kuduri. Yeah. So Kuduri, for example, like I said, so for Kuduri, try to read things like the book I told you, Al-Fiqh Al-Hanafi fi thawbihi wadillatu. You can read fi thawbihi al-jadid, it's a bit advanced, but wadillatu As'ad Sagurji. Why Ahmed, can you please, mashallah, Abu Bakr, Allahu Akbar, mashallah, I love your work. Everyone else donate, help, mashallah, jazakallah khair. Abu Bakr, H. Hussein and Abu Bakr, mashallah, jazakumullah khair. May Allah reward you. Two beautiful souls, mashallah. Alhamdulillah, may Allah reward you and give you sadaqah jariyah for all the support, mashallah. And that's the kind of thing that, alhamdulillah, I've kind of wanted to try and do on the channel, which is to provide for this channel videos and content which people can't get anywhere else. People always wanted to study from scholars or study different types of books, and I mean, with this, it's that anyone in the comfort of your own home, you can study these sciences and you can play it back to yourself. You don't understand anything, and I try to make it as interactive as possible. I try to make it as visual as possible as well. So alhamdulillah, jazakallah khair, mashallah, these kind of support, mashallah, it's very motivating, alhamdulillah. Can you please share that story of the man who thought that drink milk, I think, caused his stomach pain and didn't say it from Allah? How would we reconcile between... Can you please share that story of the man who thought the drink... I don't know which story you're talking about. If you can tell me the story. Hassan Khan, mashallah, Hassan Khan, mashallah, this is Hassan Khan. This is our Pushtun friend, mashallah, from Sheffield, a Naat Khan as well. There's beautiful Naats. If I could listen to your voice now, I would let all of you guys listen to it. So you can check out his YouTube channel as well. He's got lots of nasheeds and qira'at as well. He does as well. Very nice, mashallah. And I remember once we were in a gathering with Sheikh Mufti, what was his name? Abdul Rahman Mangera. And we were doing we were doing the recitation, the entire recitation of Al-Hizb Al-Azam. So we went through the entire Hizb Al-Azam, and Hassan Khan, mashallah, recited a beautiful qira'at. Yeah, like it was like Taraweeh, bro. You remind us of Taraweehs. MashaAllah, why now? Jazakallah khair for your donation, £10. Jazakallah khair, why now? May Allah bless you. May Allah keep you happy and keep you fresh looking, and sadaqah jariyah for you and your family and your loved ones. Allahu Akbar. Hassan Khan, Jazakallah khair. Hassan, MashaAllah, guys. Look, Hassan Khan's a very nice soul. Beautiful soul, MashaAllah. Why now? And Hassan Khan, Jazakallah khair. Thank you very much. May Allah reward you immensely. عمار Patel نور إيضاح النحو الواضح علم الصيغة فوائد مكية قدور قصص العربية بين يديك. Oh, you study loads, you do. We only had like six subjects. Yeah, so those are good, alhamdulillah. What I would suggest is, Ammar, I benefited a lot from private study. Try to study privately. Try to get hold of a scholar. Even if you have to privately study with a scholar. And this is something which is something which is going to be very, very beneficial for you, because see what happens in a lot of madrasas is students, they can't get that full benefit from the teacher, because there's one teacher and there's lots of students, and then the teacher will just come in at his teaching time and then leave, so you can't really interact with the teacher. You can't. And I personally feel that you can only benefit from your teacher at best when you are fully comfortable with your teacher. Yeah, MashaAllah, CSDF, Allahu Akbar, Jazakumullah khair. May Allah reward you. May Allah put barakah in your time and your effort. Alhamdulillah, subhanallah, guys. And wallahi, this is something which makes me very, very happy. And may Allah bless all of you guys. But it's through it's been over 1 year now. It's been 1 year and almost 3 months now since I've started the making the videos continuously. And alhamdulillah, with your motivation, with your support, all of you guys are, alhamdulillah, may Allah bless all of you guys. This is truly humbling, mashallah. It's very, mashallah, nice to see that you guys have so much love for me and my channel and the work that I do. And, may Allah reward all of you guys and make you see the barakah of your support and your sadaqah in this dunya and the akhirah as well, inshallah. Jazakallah khair, CSDF, Jazakallah khair, Hassan Khan, Waina, Abu Bakr, H. Hussein, all of you guys, may Allah, and all the rest of you guys, may Allah bless all of you guys. Yeah, wallahi, may Allah bless you. Yeah, so that's what I would say, Ammar, because these are a lot of books, and for a student to study a lot of books in one go, you can't kind of get into it, right? You can't get into it, I personally. So I would say, get hold of a private teacher in your holidays, whenever you get free time, start studying with them. And I've got loads of these videos on my YouTube channel. Try to go through them as well. Right? Try to go through the Quduri ones and others. Won't Dajjal be able to resurrect the dead? So yeah, so the narration mentions about him cutting a child in half and then bringing him back to life. But you see, because this can be interpreted, so whenever we can, the statements of the Prophet ﷺ can be interpreted, we can always take that interpretation. In other words, it's not categorical that he will bring him back to life after death, after death as we understand death, like in modern days, what we call death. Because in the past, sometimes death could mean unconsciousness. Yeah, so in other words, in today's times as well, this idea of death is something which is can be interpreted. Like someone can say, they could put someone into an induced coma, like a death-like state. And they're all talking about this idea of, resurrecting someone who is in cryostasis. Yeah, so in cryostasis. So when it comes to these kind of ahadith, like I said to you, when the Prophet ﷺ told about something of the future, he explained it to Sahaba in ways that they could understand. Okay, Hassan Khan, sorry for messing for a while, been a little swamped. No, always in right place, with Surah Yasin stuff. I hope you're well, looking good, Ustaji. Jazakallah khair, Hassan. You're looking even better, mashallah. May Allah reward you. Yeah, inshallah, we're gonna meet up. Inshallah, I was gonna come Bradford today, and but obviously you're far from Bradford, but then I changed my mind. But inshallah, maybe if you come down to Birmingham, yeah. Roads are quiet anyway because of coronavirus. Roads are quiet, bro. So come down. We'll chill out, inshallah. Yeah. So yeah, go through the Surah Yasin and let me know, inshallah, if you have any questions or anything. Yeah, you got my details, inshallah. Abu Bakr As-Sunni. Assalamu alaikum. Ahlan wa sahlan. Ahl Germany. Ahl Almania. Ahlan wa sahlan. Allah bless your work. Jazakallah khair, Hassan. It means a lot, bro. It means a lot from you. Why not? I completely agree with Brother Abu Bakr. We should support. Jazakallah khair. Thank you very much, Why not? May Allah bless you. May Allah keep you happy. CSDF again. Jazakallah khair. I'm trying to get a hold of you in my head. Allahu Akbar. Sufyan, wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Ahlan wa sahlan, Sufyan. Ammar Patel, your Quduri videos are really beneficial. What books are on your channel that would be good for me? Okay, so what you can do is, I've got Surah Yusuf. So Surah Yusuf, check out Surah Yusuf. I've done Surah Yusuf analysis. So for Tarkeeb, that's very good for you, for a beginner. And I've also got these reading videos where you can do Tarkeeb. Right, check those out. So Surah Yusuf, the Ibarat reading ones. I've got Qasas and Nabiyyin as well. What else would be good for you? I mean, I got some advanced ones on Tarkeeb, Surah Qasas Tarkeeb, but that might be a bit advanced for you, I'm thinking. Yeah. Okay. Tatal, why do you pay him on YouTube? Just pay him to take 33%. Yeah, YouTube does take 33%. That's true. Yeah, but Jazakallah khair. Thank you very much for all your support. MashaAllah, may Allah bless you. Jazakumullah khair. Jazakumullah khair. Okay, so all the questions are done. Alhamdulillah. Look at that. So inshallah today we're going to finish early. What I'll do is I'll go through some. Okay, I'll go through some a book, right? So you said people should get private teacher, and I looked around and couldn't say. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Inshallah. How do I transfer some money? All these stickers, I can't seem to do it. Well, there's a button at the bottom next to the emojis. Can you see that button with the dollar sign? I think you press that. By Yazid. I'm not familiar with that story, unfortunately. Yeah, I'm not familiar with that. And the stickers money come to you? Yeah, so the stickers money come to the channel. So in my channel, so it gets stored in there. Yeah, definitely come down, inshallah. Sharif, Ahlan wa Sahlan, Ahl America. Ahl America, finally, Ahl America. Is there any more Ahl Americas here today? What would be the best way to approach a scholar about private studies, the adab of the... So, I mean, the best way to do it, I would say, is... I mean, when I used to study privately with my teacher, what I would do is I never... Like, my teacher never asked me for any sort of financial support or anything. Sometimes if he needed something and I knew he needed something, or I would regularly kind of just financially support him. Buy him groceries sometimes give him like a gift or something, cash gift. Sometimes even like books that he needed, to buy books for him. So you can do it in different ways, right? The main thing is find a teacher who who you're going to click with, who you're going to be able to benefit from. That's the main thing you have to be able to do. So I think that's the main sort of thing that you have to remember. So it's a lot of times there might be a teacher who's a very, very knowledgeable, but the problem is you can't click with him and he's not very sort of like approachable. Yeah, it's very difficult for him to teach you. You can't get what he's saying. Does that make sense? So you need to find someone who you can click with, who you can understand. You can ask questions informally, and he can benefit you as well. And the adab is just, I mean, I personally don't think that a person has to show super adab to anyone. And it's just respect, how you would show respect to someone on the streets locally. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah, Adib Shams and MP. So this is a book, mashallah, one of my students he sent to me. So he's a student in Saudi Arabia. So this student, mashallah, Saudi Arabia, he's benefiting from my videos and he is helping other people in Saudi Arabia learn. You know, it's just a long story he told me, and I was so surprised that someone in Saudi Arabia would be learning from my videos and would be benefiting other people there as well. So subhanallah, you know, who knows where all the support that you guys are supporting me with, all your support and all of my efforts supporting people in places like Saudi Arabia, where, you know, alhamdulillah, you know, this amazing guy, mashallah. So anyway, so he sent me this book, Mukhtarat, because he had this book, he sent me a picture of it, and I said to him, it looks so beautiful. It's a nice, very nice print. It's called Mukhtarat min Adab al-Arab. Yeah, Mukhtarat min Adab al-Arab. It's by Sheikh Abul Hassan Ali al-Nadwi. So Abul Hassan Nadwi, and it's 2 volumes, and it's all in one though. It's like 2 volumes in one. And the print is just beautiful print. Very nice print. Yeah. So this is a book. It's about adab basically. It's about Arabic classical literature. So what the author has done, he's selected different types of texts from different scholars throughout history, like different Arab writers throughout history, and he's put them in one place, and he's kind of designed it in such a way that it's beneficial for any student who wants to improve their Arabic but wants to kind of efficiently improve it. Allahu Akbar, Sufyan, mashallah, Allahu Akbar. Jazakumullah khair, Jazakumullah khair. May Allah reward you, Allah, subhanallah. Yeah, wallahi, I feel very humble today, guys. Sufyan, Jazakallah khair, Jazakallah to all your time in the week. Our layman like myself find it so useful to ask questions, get response straight away. Jazakallah khair. May Allah reward you, may Allah put barakah in your time. Sufyan, I feel very, you know, I don't know what to say, man. MashaAllah, it's just very, very humbling. Alhamdulillah, guys. Today you guys have made me quiet now. You know, subhanallah. I don't know what to say. Wallahi, I don't know what to say. So, mashallah, jazakumullah khair, guys. You know, may Allah reward you and may Allah put barakah in your time and your efforts. And Allah Akbar, subhanallah, subhanallah. Yeah, and you stopped my words in my mouth. Yeah, Allahu Akbar. Yeah, you know, you guys have a lot of love for this channel, mashallah. Allahu Akbar, mashallah, mashallah. And you know, I always say this. I always say, if you're going to do the khidmat of the deen, yeah, you need to do the khidmat of the deen at the highest level. Wallahi, you need to do it at the highest level. And if you're going to make videos, you need to make the videos the best videos you can. And this is how I always believe, and inshallah I will always believe this. You know, I wish there was people like me, myself making videos. I wish there was like 100 other people like this, and each person could just make videos on certain topics. If I had a team of people, and I could have one guy just making videos on hadith, and one guy's on usul fiqh, and one guy on nahu, you know, imagine in a short period of time we could have a whole library, free, accessible to everyone. You know, all the sciences that Muslims would need around the world. And you just look at the situation now where coronavirus has attacked you. We see how beneficial the internet is now, how important it is to have this means of communication, and so many, you know, misunderstandings of Islam can be clarified easily for you know, with these kind of videos. So this is my aim. My ultimate aim is that I can leave behind a whole legacy of videos and people, a team who can do all these kind of things. Yeah. And I can have like a whole series of people that can just start from scratch all the way and become experts in Arabic, from scratch experts in Quran. And actually, this week in a Sufa, when I was teaching, I actually started a new thing with them. So I'm going to do it maybe every 2 weeks or so, which is the class. I normally teach them Usul Hadith and Usul Fiqh, the 4th years basically, with Nur al-Anwar and Nukhbat al-Fikr. Right, so this week Friday, what we done was we actually selected various tafsirs in the library, and we chose a verse in the Quran, Surah Ahzab, verse number 1, and we went through each tafsir and we analyzed how the tafsir had presented their own findings, And so we could like cross-reference the tafsirs and see which tafsir was kind of giving a kind of more a deeper meaning when it comes to balagha, which one was focusing more on nahu, which one was focusing more on, and which ones were problematic, right? So we went through tafsirs like Tabari, we went through tafsirs like Qurtubi, Ibn Kathir, Ruh al-Ma'ani, Alusi, Fath al-Qadir Shawkani, Tahrir al-Tanwir, Baydawi, and Adwa al-Bayan, right? So we went through them, and the students, our fourth year students can read these tafsirs on their own. They don't have a problem with that. So we could have these kind of discussions. So I was thinking, if that becomes successful, so I'm piloting it there. If that becomes successful, what I can possibly do is maybe have a team online, because I did mention this before as well. I want to have like a team of people I can start helping and training them, and then we could have like a tafsir readings. But then there'd have to be people who are able to read a tafsir, like the Arabic has to be to a good standard, and then they could read the tafsir and they could come out what they've understood from the tafsir, and another person could read another tafsir on a particular ayah and come out with what they've understood, and we can kind of discuss it. So if that's successful, maybe that's another thing that we can look into. But anyway, Jazakallah khair, Sufyan. MashaAllah, may Allah reward you, bless you, and all the rest of you guys as well. So Mukhtarat min Adab al-Arab is a very good book, I would say. It's like in madrasas, when you Qasas al-Nabi, and the same guy who wrote Qasas al-Nabi wrote this, right? And the same guy who wrote Qiraat al-Rashida wrote this. So after Qiraat al-Rashida, this is a very good book to read, I would say. Once you've read this book, you're like, if there's 10 steps of Arabic adab, once you've read this book, Qasas, Qiraat al-Rashida, and then this book, I would say your Arabic is going to be at level 6 or 7. All right, 6 or 7, maybe 8 even. Right, if you kind of read this, and the way you have to read it is you have to be able to write it as well, your own words. You got to be able to write it as well. So have a go at that, I would say. And this is a very good book. So this is just like short little sections from various books that were written. So from the time of the Prophet ﷺ, statements like famous like quotes of Sahaba, famous quotes of other individuals throughout history. Yeah. So I could read something from here, but it's just going to be a bit advanced for a lot of you guys. So I don't want to kind of let me see if there is anything interesting, like let's see. MashaAllah, may Allah reward you immensely, Sufyan. Ustad, you're getting rich. Allahu Akbar. Look, I mean, in reality, the money that I collect from this go, especially in the YouTube one, is pumped back into the what I need for the equipment, what I need for the paying the editor, what I need for those kind of things. This is the main thing where a lot of the money gets pumped back into. How's Catty? Catty is good. She's grown. Yeah, she's grown. Alhamdulillah. She's becoming a bit calm now. She's getting a bit calmer. She's still jumping on me, but it's a bit calm jumping now. I mean, you deserve more. Jazakallah khair. May Allah keep you happy. Strive for excellence. Definitely strive for excellence. Inshallah, that will happen in the near future, paving the way. Alhamdulillah. Sounds a brilliant project, Sheikh. May Allah use me for that cause. Inshallah, yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'm gonna have to pick some of you guys maybe. I tried to do online the Alamiya, but they said no. Yeah, we're actually looking into it. We're hopefully next year we should try and have it up and running next year, inshallah. Ammar, what do you recommend above Qasas? Yeah, so this above Qasas, Qiraat al-Rashida, and then this. Zara Khan, MashaAllah, Ustaz, Jazakallah khair for your efforts in creating these videos and answering questions weekly. It has greatly helped me in my journey of Arabic. May Allah accept it. Jazakallah khair. Thank you very much, Zara Khan. Allahu Akbar, guys. Subhanallah. Again, I don't know what to say, man. MashaAllah. May Allah keep you guys happy. You guys have, today you really lost me for words here. I'm normally just chatting for 3 hours, non-stop. Yeah, non-stop chatting for 3 hours, but this time it's just like, I don't know. Allahu Akbar. MashaAllah. So alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah, jazakallah khair. Thank you very much, Zara Khan. Allah reward you, Allah keep you happy, blessed, and put barakah in your ilm and your knowledge and your khidmah of deen, inshallah. Okay, what do you recommend, Uqas? Abu Hassan Nadwi is one of the great scholars of our time. His English books are awesome. I want to start his Arabic, but first need to learn it. Yeah, definitely. Very, very. It's got a whole, you can actually go to, there's actually a website, and actually, let me just show you this website. If any of you guys are interested, and they've just got the whole, like, kind of, Abu Hassan Nadawi, like, loads of books of the Nadawa scholars, men and women as well. So that's the kind of good thing about this website. Yeah. So if you go through this website, if you go through this website, I'll just put it up here. Yeah, that's a very good website for lots of books in Urdu, in Arabic, in various languages. Okay, are you on lockdown? Have you stockpiled food? No, I haven't stockpiled. I'm not on lockdown yet. Alhamdulillah, I haven't stockpiled. I did buy some crisps and some chocolates. Yeah, just to kind of like make sure my stomach is still warm. Adib Shams, what books do you teach in Iftar, Sheikh? So in Iftar, I basically, the main ones that I do, and then I try to bring in other scholars to deliver presentations. So the ones that I teach is Uqud Ras al-Mufti, Ashbah al-Nadha'ir, and we go through like some rasail as well, some various articles and rasail that are written by scholars regarding fiqh and certain issues. And also we're going through al-Lubab as well, but we're going through in a very in-depth way of looking at it. Al-Lubab. Ammar, sorry, but I forgot the name of the book read in Kuduri. Yeah, so the book that is written in Kuduri is called Al-Fiqh al-Hanafi wa Adillatuhu. I've got it somewhere. Yeah, this is it. Al-Fiqh al-Hanafi. I don't know if you can see this. Maybe if I open the front. Yeah, this is it. Okay, so it's a good book. It's 3 volumes, okay, and it's very easy to read, nice, like a nice kind of Arabic. It's not like difficult, it's not matan style. Okay, one many yawmana barakat inshallah. Ameen. Yeah, definitely. So yeah, so that's basically this. I'm going to read a poem to you guys because you guys made me happy. I'm going to read a poem to you. Nice. What kind of poem do you guys want to hear? Let me try to find a poem. What kind of poem do you guys like? Do you want to hear some Diwan Shafi or maybe some Mutanabbi? Mutanabbi. You want to hear some love poems? Okay, I'll tell you this. This is from Hamasa. Yeah, this is from the Hamasa. Hawaya ma'a rakb al-yamanina. Okay, so I don't know if you guys have heard this before, but this was a poem about a guy who was in love with this woman, and basically what happened was he was imprisoned, and he was going to be killed, right, his death sentence. And whilst he was in prison, he said this poem. Yeah, shall I say that one to you guys? So some of you guys may have heard this, I think. I don't know if you guys have heard this. There's a Mukhtasar Ilahi Sunnah by Bangladesh scholars. So far 2 volumes have been published. Really nice. Okay. Alhamdulillah. That's a very good book as well. Ilahi Sunnah. There was a madrasa in Blackburn. I don't know if you guys have heard of Miftahul Ulum. Instead of teaching Hidayah, they actually teach the They actually teach Durul Mukhtar, the Matan Durul Mukhtar, and they teach the Matan of Ila Sunan. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so you guys ready, yeah? You guys ready for poem? Yeah. Okay, guys. I'm gonna read this poem to you guys. So this is this poem now. Right, so he says هوايا مع الركب اليمانين مسعد جنيب وجثماني بمكة موثق عجبت لمسراها وأن تخلصت إلي وباب السجن دوني مغلق ألمت فحيت ثم قامت فودعت فلما تولت كادت النفس تزحق فلا تحسبي أني تخشعت بعدكم لشيء ولا أني من الموت أفرق ولكني أرتني من هواك صبابة كما كنت ألقى منك إذ أنا مطلق. So he says Janibun, he says Hawaya means that my love, my extreme passion and desire for you. That's the Arabs call Hawa. Hawaya ma'ar rakb al-Yaman. Rakb means a group of people. Yamanina from Yemen. Mus'idu means traveling, going to a distance. Hawaya, my love, is with the Yemenis travelers who are going away. Yeah, so in other words, so basically his beloved was a Yemeni woman who was going with her tribe and they were departing, they were leaving him. Hawaya ma'a rakb al-Yamanina mus'idu. My beloved, my love is with the group of Yemenis travelers, mus'idu, traveling far and away. Janibun wa juthmani bi Makkata muthaqu. Janibun wa juthmanu. Juthmani bi Makkata muthaqu. My body is in Makkah tied up, muthaqun. So I'm in Makkah tied up, whilst my love is like separated from my body and has gone with the Yemenis travelers. Ajibtu li masraha wa anna takhallasat. I was amazed, ajibtu li masraha. Masra is from the word Isra, which means night journey. So I'm amazed at her turning up at night time, her traveling from the travelers. So the travelers are going and moving away from Makkah, but for some miraculous way, she has ended up at night time in my prison cell. So he's basically hallucinating about his beloved. So it's like he's fantasizing about her, someone who's in love with someone, starts imagining like scenarios with them. So ajibtu li masraha. Masraha, sayruha bil layl. I'm amazed and surprised, shocked at how she's traveled by night. Wa anna takhallasat. Anna means kaifa. Anna takhallasat. How has she got through? Takhallasa means like to become khalas, to get through to me. Like how has she got through all the guards into my prison cell? Takhallasat ilayya, to me. Wa babu sijin, whilst the door of the prison, duni, has been locked with me in it. Mughlaq. Alammat. Alamma means that she softly arrived. Fahayyat, and she greeted me. Thumma qamat, and then she got up. Fawadda'at, and then she said salam, she departed. Falamma tawallat, and then when she turned away, so he's fantasizing about her arriving, and he's saying that she's come softly, she's kind of stepped into my prison cell, she's gave me salam, yeah, and then all of a sudden she gets up suddenly, and then she departs and goes, gives me wada'. Falamma tawallat, and when she turned away, kadatin nafsu tazhaqu, it was as though my nafs was about to die. Kadatin nafsu tazhaq, like my nafs missed her so much, her departing, it was like something from my body was tearing away from my body. Kadatin nafs, my nafs almost became destroyed. فَلَا تَحْسَبِي أَنِّي تَخَشَّعْتُ بَعْدَكُمْ. Then he speaks to the prison guards, and he speaks to the woman rather. He says, لَا تَحْسَبِي, O my beloved, do not assume أَنِّي تَخَشَّعْتُ بَعْدَكُمْ, that I have become humbled to the prison guards after you left. بَعْدَكُمْ لِشَيْءٍ, to anything. وَلَا أَنِّي مِنَ الْمَوْتِ أَفْرَقُ, and nor should you assume that I am scared of death. أفرق means أخاف. ولكن أردتني من هواك صبابة. However, what's happened to me is from your love, like your love has kind of like settled on me. It's like kind of crashed on me, overtaken me. أردتني, Ara ya'ri means to, to possess me. So your love has like a jinn has gone into me and possessed my entire body. Kama kuntu alqa minki, just like I used to before I was imprisoned and we used to be together. Kama kuntu alqa minki, just as I used to receive from you, that kind of love, overwhelming love used to overwhelm me. Idh ana mutlaqu, when I was free. Yeah, so look at that poem. Yeah, and this guy was in prison, he comes out with all this kind of stuff, right? This is the kind of crazy, what happens to people when they end up in prison away from their beloveds. هوايا مع الركب اليمانين مسعد جنيب وجثماني بمكة موثق عجبت لمسراها وأن تخلصت إلي وباب السجن دوني مغلق ألمت فحيت ثم قامت فودعت فلما تولت كادت النفس تزهق فلا تحسبي أني تخشعت بعدكم لشيء ولا أني من الموت أفرق ولكن عرتني من حواك صبابة كما كنت ألقى منك إذ أنا مطلق. That's it, guys. That's the poem for you guys today. So you see how I would have thought there would be more questions today as people staying at home and locked down. Yeah, I'm surprised. Hardly any questions. There's only probably about 8 questions on Curious Cat. Yeah. Let me just check if there's any more, just in case. So is this poem your nasiha during self-isolation? Oh, look at that, subhanallah. Yeah, coincidence or coincidence? Self-isolation, and I just randomly just found this poem. Yeah. Actually, there is a question. Salam, hope you're well. Is there a specific dua to marry someone you love? Her parents are not accepting because of bloodline. What do you think of wazifa regarding marriage? You know what? Look, when it comes to marriage, yeah, if the parents are not going to agree, don't try a Bollywood one. I don't think the Bollywood ones are going to work here. The Bollywood ones are, yeah, where you just take the woman and you run away somewhere and you live under a tree. Why? Because love is so powerful. Love will overwhelm everything. No, it won't. Because when love will not put food on the table, love is not going to give you a roof over your head. Love is not going to help you, have children, take care of the children, clothe the children, wipe the backsides of the children, right? Love is something which obviously you require, but some people, I think they over romanticize things in reality. So you need to have a balance between reality and romance. And the reality should overtake the romance. Otherwise, what happens is people live, and it usually happens with young people. Young people, they kind of think, this person's for me and I have to marry her, or I have to marry him, and they think that my life's going to be destroyed. And Rakbul Yamanina Mus'idu Janibun wa Juthmani Bimakkata Muthaku, they start singing those poems to themselves. And in reality, all they're doing is just, they think they know what they're doing, but the reality is that they most likely don't. And unfortunately, a lot of love marriages, that kind of love marriages, they end in sadness. Yeah, that's the reality. They don't last very long. They end in sad reality, because love is something obviously which fluctuates, goes up, it goes down, yeah, fluctuates. So I would say in these kind of situations, if they're not going to accept, there's no wazifa in the world you can read except for the wazifa of strangling the parents, astaghfirullah, which you shouldn't, yeah, or telling the parents that you got. Actually, do this. If she's got coronavirus, yeah, you go to the parents' house and you say, I'm the cure for coronavirus. If you marry me, your daughter will be cured. Yeah, if you convince the parents to do that, Allahu Akbar, that's it. You've got it. So I can't think of any other wazifa. There's no wazifa out there that will make a parents, Okay, Amar Patel. Have you heard of Maulana Muawiyah, son of Mufti Abdul Samad? He's compiled a book for students in Darul Blackburn and how are being published. Yeah. He's actually sent me some. I'm going to show you, inshallah, next week. I'll show you them. He sent me 4 books. So, mashallah, Maulana always sends me any new books that he publishes. He always sends me a copy. So, alhamdulillah, may Allah reward Maulana Muawiyah. And I've got some of his some books that he's published. And inshallah, I'll show you some of them next week, inshallah. I've got it here somewhere. Yeah, okay, I've got a few here somewhere, but inshallah next week, because I don't want to kind of overwhelm you guys with Okay, TTV Real. Halla, ahlan wa sahlan. Pretend to be a doctor. Yeah, pretend to be specialist. Yeah, because nowadays everyone's becoming a specialist on social media, yeah, on coronavirus. Yeah, so now how do you increase your iman when you're at the lowest? Yeah, it's a tough question, bro. How do you increase your iman? Iman goes through ups and dips, yeah, peaks and troughs. You know what you got to do? You just got to, I would say the biggest thing that will strengthen your iman, you know what it is? The biggest thing for me is when you go and you help someone who's less privileged than you. Help someone who's less privileged than you. That will strengthen your iman. And strengthen, not give you like a, listening to talks will give you like a boost, but they don't last long. They just like, like peak and then they go back down again. But the thing that will really kind of give you that thing is when you start doing like help the homeless, help elderly people, support your parents, visit the people who are ill. Well, don't like go around visiting all the coronavirus illness. Yeah, you might get coronavirus yourself. But you know what I'm saying. That's the main thing, that's the biggest thing that you gotta do. Okay, I've heard another scholar say that from what he's seen, eventually parents do come around agreeing with whoever their child wants to marry. I mean, possibly, but I've seen so many cases because I've done lots of nikahs for people, and the number of guys who have married love marriages and say to me, you know what, it wasn't worth it. I've seen so many of them happen, and the guys will say to me, you know what, it wasn't worth it. She looked very pretty in the beginning, right, but her attitude was really bad. It was difficult to live with her. Or she turns around and she says, he promised all these things to me when he was going to get married to me, and then when he married me after that, he kind of just gave side to his parents, or he sided with his friends, and he would leave me like this, and I thought he was gonna make me a queen or something, and blah blah blah. And yeah, I heard you hear these kind of things. Okay, because ultimately they want their kids to be happy. Yeah, I mean, maybe they want their kids to be happy, but the thing is, what happens is a lot of youngsters, they're very naive in getting married. Yeah, they think it's the right choice to make, and sometimes, alhamdulillah, it might be the right choice. I'm telling you from my own personal experience, from what I've seen, because I do lots of nikahs, and I've seen a lot of times that nikahs have just, maybe I didn't do the nikah with enough sincerity, so it went down the drain. Okay, is there anything specific a person can do if they want to get married? However, they are finding no luck in finding anyone. Use matrimony sites, friends and family are not helping, so the person is left their own devices. Do not feel free mixing. It's a difficult one. It's a difficult one because obviously it all depends upon culture, society. Some societies are very strict. Some societies are a bit more liberal. What I would say is, I mean, I don't really know all the ways of getting married. Yeah. Asking through friends and family, and in places where people usually meet in the mosque, asking the imam, asking someone elderly that if they know anyone. Or maybe if you're really interested in a sister, you just go up to her and you ask her that can I have your dad's phone number. She'll probably just one slap in your face. Yeah, how dare you. So it depends on society as well. You can't do that in Pakistan. If you go in Pakistan to some lady on the street and say, can I have your dad's phone number, she'll probably just slap you. Yeah, over there it's like a rude thing to do. But in some cultures, maybe except in Malaysia, for example, I know that's how they do things. They actually, the parents, the guy will go up to the girl and ask for the number and things like that. Okay, how do you repent properly? What's the structure to follow? What do you say the best way? So the way to repent is, first of all, in your heart, feel that the thing that you've done is wrong. That's the main thing, to feel remorse in your heart. And then to promise Allah you're not going to do it again. Yeah, that's the main thing. So in your heart you feel it's wrong, promise Allah you're not going to do it again. That's inshallah. And if you've harmed someone else, ask forgiveness from them. That's the main thing in Tawbah. كيف وضعك مع اليوتيوب؟ ما شاء الله وضعي جيد الحمد لله. وكيف وضعك أنت؟ Do you know any books which go over خاصيات أبواب? I flicked through Maulana Muawiyah's Sarf book and I saw some good points. I think there's that book Treasure, was it? treasure of morphology. Was it called treasure of morphology or something like treasure? Yeah, something. That's got some good khasiyat at the back. If I die from coronavirus, do I die as a shaheed? Yes, inshallah. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, anyone who dies in a waba, an illness, is considered to be a shaheed in the hereafter. Should mosque be closed for Taraweeh and Jum'ah? No, I don't think in the UK mosque should be closed because it's just a fear of it. I mean, people can, if they fear that they're going to harm other people, if they think they've got it, then they should not come to the mosque. They should be advised not coming to the mosque. But I don't think mosques and Jummah should be closed. That's just the government. That's the thing, isn't it? When governments, see, the British government basically, what they're doing at the moment is they are scared of the economy collapsing. That's why they're not really kind of taking measures, or that's why they're taking extra precautious measures when it comes to things like telling people not to gather lots of people, because what they don't want to happen is that this illness prolongs. If it prolongs, it's going to have a bad effect on the economy, a very, very bad effect. And that's why they are trying to just tell everyone now, just to 2 weeks, right? These kind of things cut down, because if they can isolate everyone now and then find out who's got it, then it can become easier for people to work around that. So this is why the data that these people are bringing in, saying that there shouldn't be these gatherings and all that, this is just for the economical purposes. It's not really kind of for health, right? Unfortunately, you heard Boris Johnson's talk. Yeah, he clearly said people are going to die in your family. Yeah, which is not really kind of very comforting. Okay. I hope all is well. Jazakallah khair. Iskhan, wa alaikum assalam. Rockstars are well, inshallah. Jazakallah khair. Thank you very much. They are all well and kicking. Khabib Nurmagomedov. So Khabib, what is happening about your fight, your next fight? Tell us what's happening about your next fight, bro. What's your opinion regarding Maulana Ashraf Ali Tanvi? Is it true he compared the Prophet's knowledge to an animal? Wallahu a'lam. I've never heard that before. If you can find the quote for that, then maybe I can look into it, but I've never come across that. Treasures of Arabic Morphology. Yeah, that's the one. AQM, Salaam alaikum wa rahmatullah. I am a traveler. If I'm a traveler and I stop somewhere, if Maghrib is coming, should I wait for Maghrib before continuing on my journey, or can I just read it Qadha when I reach my destination? No, you have to pray your Maghrib on time. According to Hanafis, you have to pray on time. Khabib versus Tony. Yeah, Khabib versus Tony. What's happening, bro? Khabib, before you ask about Maulana Ashraf Ali Tanvi, you tell me what's happening about your fight. I understand, Muslim Night, I understand that Balagha is more organic science which depends highly on acquiring dhawq via other books, but apart from that, any tips to remember the technicalities of Balagha as it doesn't stick? Yeah, so I mean, I don't know if you've seen my course. I've got a course on Balagha on my uruk.com channel, your website. And what I try and do is I try to use common sense sort of like concepts that are used in English to explain these ideas. So I mean, Balagha, a lot of it is just trying to be in touch with your own language. So in English, for example, we say so many things, but if we kind of were to sit down and say, okay, let's break down how we express ourselves in English. Like, for example, if I want to express myself by saying that I'm really angry, I can say I am very angry. But what other way can I say it? I can say, I'm furiating. I am, my head is exploding. Yeah, I am in rage. So you see all these different types of expressions that you use. All of these balagha would have a term for them, right? For what we're saying. So it's all about trying to be in touch with your own language, understanding the subtleties of your own language. And if you understand the subtlety of your language, it's very easy to understand how the balagha, scholars of balagha, they express themselves and the terms. So yeah, so I think that's the. But for the terms, memorizing the names of the terms, it's obviously just good old memorizing there. But technicalities, I would say, try to get in touch with your own language. Okay. Right. Next question. Deepshamsarchive.com has the books of treasure morphology. Okay, they have it there. Yeah? Sharif, assalamu alaikum. Historically, has Hajj and Umrah been stopped because of epidemic? What is fiqh say? Yeah, so historically, Hajj has actually been stopped, and actually for various reasons, like wars. In the time of Sahaba, even there was like these wars that took place, and there was like these power struggles where Karamita for 20 years had cancelled Hajj for Sunnis. They couldn't do Hajj, and they stole the black stone as well. This was like 200 or maybe like 300 years after the Prophet ﷺ this happened. They stole the black stone. So if you see the black stone now, it's in fragments. That black kind of thing that people see inside of a silver, that's not the black stone. Inside of that, there's about 9 pieces that are glued into this other sort of like block. So when people kiss the black stone, they have to remember not to kiss everything. It's those pieces inside. So it was broken into pieces, sadly. Yeah, so historically these things happen. And I mean, obviously, unfortunately, it's sad. We don't really want to see Makkah empty. But I did put a post up once and I said, look, the reality is that Allah is just reminding us that even His house will stop, the worship will stop in His house one day. So this is like no one imagined that the tawaf's going to stop or salat's going to stop in Makkah, but it does. Just shows you that if that's going to stop, then imagine the entire universe. So near the end of time, since Sahih Muslim's narration, near the end of time, the Kaaba Hajj will stop, and wild animals will be roaming around inside the mataf. Yeah, and a man from Africa, he's gonna come, and he's gonna take over Makkah, and he's gonna break the Kaaba brick by brick. He's gonna demolish it. So unfortunately, that's gonna happen near the end of time. We can't stop that. But this shows you that look, the whole world is in Allah's control. Yeah, in al-hukmu illa lillah. Yeah, wallahu ghalibun ala amrihi. Allah can do anything He wants. And we all thought that the superpowers of today, they don't need religion, they don't need God's God's ni'mas, bounties, and well, proven wrong. Okay, why isn't exact date and time when Quran was revealed? Yeah, so because a simple answer for that is because they didn't have clocks in them days, and they didn't have calendars. So calendars actually came after the time of the Prophet ﷺ. Yeah, unfortunately. So because they didn't have calendars and times, it's very difficult to kind of say when things happened. You have to kind of go backwards in time, retrospectively, and try to work out when things happened. Jazakallah khair, AQM. Muslim Night, brilliant, thank you. Reply. SMB, if you got money from a drug dealer, can you give it in charity? If you get money from a drug dealer, yeah, if you get money from a drug dealer, you're not allowed to keep it. If it's just a gift from him, you can't keep it. You should give it in charity. Can Corona be a minor sign? Maybe. I mean, Corona isn't the only thing. I mean, in Europe, the Black Plague, it destroyed Europe. Yeah, and in fact, they say about the Black Plague, if it wasn't for the Black Plague, a lot of Muslims would have been slaughtered across Europe. And I can't remember exactly the details. The Black Plague actually weakened the Christians' armies. Yeah, it weakened the Christians' armies in Europe. You'd have to, maybe don't quote me on that, but check it out. So it was like how many million people died because of the Black Plague across Europe. And historically there's been lots of wars. In fact, there's a book I recently came across, Imam Ibn Hajar, and he's written historically about all the like epidemics and pandemics that have occurred historically, according to the Muslim historians, and what effect they had. Even days of Sahaba it happened. Many Sahaba, unfortunately, like Abu Ubaidah ibn Jarrah, he died because of a plague. Yes, and there was a whole list of Sahaba's names in Ta'un Amwas in Jordan. The thing is, because it happens to us like for the first time, it's like shocking. We think it's only happened to us, and historically it's never ever happened. Like we get very shocked, and I think we get shocked because we can't imagine how everyone has lost control, like how the British government's lost control, how Italy's on lockdown, Spain's going to be on lockdown maybe tomorrow. America doesn't know what to do. China is just is panicking. Yeah. It's like the first world countries, the third world countries are actually doing better than the first world countries. It's shocking. Premiership might be cancelled. Allah, what are Liverpool fans gonna do, man? Guys, Liverpool fans, are you guys there? What are you guys gonna do? Okay. What did Allah mean by the paths in Surah Al-Balad? Najdain. Are you talking about Najdain? Yeah. So Najdain basically means two clear paths. Yeah. So وَهَدَيْنَاهُ النَّجْدَيْن. So Allah is saying that mankind is like humans know what is right and what is wrong. Intrinsically they know. So they know the main kind of killing is wrong, rape is wrong, stealing is wrong, and they know helping vulnerable is right, giving charity is right. Those are the two paths. Okay, all shops are getting empty sadly. Yeah, I don't know why all shops are getting empty. I have no idea why people go crazy. I went to the shops today, I went to Tesco, and it was like so many shelves were empty. And I was thinking, because when you're in Pakistan, for example, when I studied in Pakistan, like shops were limited to what they had. So when you go to a supermarket, these massive supermarkets, and you see what they have, you're kind of like thinking you're spoiled for choice. Yeah, so because you're spoiled for choice, you don't know what to do. But people who are living in developing countries, when you go to the shop, they're limited to what bread they can buy. They're limited to what drinks they can buy, what milk they can buy. I remember when we were in madrasa, the milk was basically there was a shop outside, and there was a guy that had this big metal sort of like round thing, a container, and it had milk in there. And you just go up to him and say to him, "How much milk you want?" You say you want. You actually ask for milk in weight. Strange. I know you get it normally in measures, but you ask in weight. You say, for example, 1 kilo doodh chahiye. 1 kilo doodh, 1 kilo of milk. 1 kilo of milk. So they actually weigh the milk. They give you in weights. Weird. So it's like there's no different types of milks you can get. It's only one type of milk you buy, unless you go to the fancy big, shops in the posh areas. Then they might have a variety, but otherwise everyone kind of gets the same buffalo milk over there. And other things similar as well. Crisps are like very limited variety of crisp you have, and they don't even taste like England crisp. Chocolates same, cakes the same. Okay, Cyrus Von Lafayette, wa alaikum salam, ahlan wa sahlan. Why now PSL has been ruined too? First time ever when Lahore was doing so well. Allahu Akbar. Chalo, Lahore is Lahore, man. Lahore is Lahore. Lahore have been Lahore before PSL, and inshallah Lahore is going to be Lahore after PSL. Okay, DM Hussein, mashallah. What is the ruling of saying Sadaqallahu al-Azim? It's just something good to say. It's not rewarding or anything, to my knowledge. It's just something good that you can say. Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Cyrus, watching empty Kaaba, even so it's empty, but got kabutar flying on tawaf. Yeah. SMB. I mean, the cleaners are at least doing tawaf, aren't they? They're cleaning around, going around the tawaf. Okay, if Liverpool don't win the league this year, it'll be the best present for the year for me. Allahu Akbar. MashaAllah, MashaAllah. That was in Stone Age with Saab. You should come to Pakistan now. Yeah, Stone Age. I mean, Stone Age. Whether it's Stone Age, I'm sure, Pakistan have probably got maybe two more types of milk. But I mean, I'm in the posh areas. When I was there in the posh areas, you go to like in Karachi, if you go to Clifton, or if you go to Defence, Badrabad, these kind of places, posh areas, you get variety. You get like these big shops, Nando's and Subway and all these kind of things. But in the average kind of area or impoverished areas, you don't get any of these. MP, everyone's hating on Boris Johnson because of his weak strategy in lockdown. Many other countries are going on full lockdown. Yeah, because I was speaking to someone about this, and they're like financial experts, and he was saying basically what Boris Johnson is doing. He knows that Britain is going to have a big impact economically. So economically, there will be a massive impact, and it's going to affect everyone. Then, like salaries, and affect the price of things for the future coming years. It's going to affect people who have taken mortgages. It's going to affect their mortgage rates. It's going to have a massive impact basically on everyone. If he has full, full sort of like lockdown, it's going to have a big impact. That's why he wants to minimize lockdown. Yeah, that's the main sort of reason. And Italy will definitely have a big problem economically. Spain will have it as well, and all these countries. Okay, heard one of the brothers lost his son in a sofa. Yeah, one of the brothers, unfortunately. Make dua, guys. Is one of our students in a sofa. He's from France originally, but his son was murdered a few weeks ago in Coventry. Don't know if you heard of a stabbing. Yeah, he was murdered, unfortunately. So make dua for Allah gives him Jannat al-Firdaus and give him sabr as well. Oh, I live in defense, and the stuff we have you don't get here. Why you posh people? And so posh people obviously are gonna get that kind of stuff. Sharif will English balagha. I dig, you dig, he dig, she dig, they dig. Not a beautiful poem, but it's very deep. I dig, you dig, he dig, she dig, they dig. That sounds like one of Bob Marley's kind of songs. Muslim Night. I know it's a multifaceted topic, Ustad, but can you shed some light on the concept of bid'ah and a definition which the non-scholars can appreciate? Okay, I think I'll finish off on this one. Yeah, Americans are here, so Americans, mashallah, they always like turning up at 11 o'clock. So the concept of bid'ah basically is this. Look, to understand it easily, imagine I have a jigsaw puzzle, and this jigsaw puzzle has 100 pieces now. Now, if I give you this 100-piece jigsaw puzzle, and you add one more piece to this jigsaw puzzle, you have messed up the entire jigsaw puzzle, because you have to make room for this one more piece. And this jigsaw puzzle is so pristine and so perfect that any additional piece is going to ruin it. Imagine this is Islam. So Islam has all of its 100 pieces there. If you come along and you add an extra piece to this puzzle, you're going to spoil Islam, you're going to ruin it. Yeah, so this is why innovation in Islam is basically adding something to Islam that is not there in the Quran, it's not there from the Prophet ﷺ, or it's not there from the early generations, and it's done as a way of getting reward, believing that there's reward, or there's sin in there. Does that make sense? So for example, like, let's say for example, doing this live stream, for example. So live stream, is it in the Quran? No. Is it in the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ? No. Is it from the Sahaba they did live streams? No. Do I believe that doing a live stream is more rewarding than doing it face to face, like doing question answer face to face? Or do I believe it's more sinful than doing it face to face? If I do, then I am introducing into Islam something, one extra piece, 101 first piece into Islam, which is not allowed. That's why innovation is not allowed, absolutely not allowed. So this is why we have, we're not allowed to add anything into Islam which we believe is more rewarding or sinful. Does that make sense? So now the question that obviously comes is like things like, if I do tasbih, if I have a tasbih, like those rosary beads, tasbih, and I use it to do dhikr, is this something which is allowed or not in Islam? So again, ask the question, is it in the Quran to use beads? No. Is it from the Sunnah to use beads? Not necessarily. Is it from the Sahaba that they used beads? Not necessarily. Does a person believe there's more reward in using a tasbih than using like their fingers or something? Well, average person doesn't believe that. They just use it because it's easier for them to count. Therefore, it's fine to use. It's not a bid'ah because you don't believe it to be an extra piece inside of a puzzle. Does that make sense? Likewise, building mosques that have minarets or building mosques that have 3 or 4 floors. That's not in the Quran, not in the Sunnah, not in the life of the Sahaba. But no one believes that having a minaret is more rewarding, and no one believes it's sinful. So therefore, you're not believing it part of Islam. So that's okay. So this is why these new things like minarets, it's new, and tasbih is new, and live streams are new. If you were to call them innovations that are good innovations, some scholars say you're allowed to call them good innovations because they're not really the innovation that the Prophet ﷺ was prohibiting. The one that he was prohibiting was the one that I explained to you. And then there's just like a fine line between some of the scholars where they kind of say things like for example, imagine praying 1,000 rakats at night time, 1,000 rakats of nafil. Is that innovation? So some of the scholars say yes, innovation, because you're kind of like doing something which the Prophet ﷺ didn't do. He didn't pray 1,000 rakats. Sahaba didn't do, it's not in the Quran, etc. And a person believes it's more rewarding. And other scholars say, like Imam Shafi, he said, no, it's okay. Because 1,000 rakats, it's proven that the Prophet ﷺ prayed at night. So whether you pray 2 at night or whether you pray lots at night, it's not an innovation. Does that make sense? So this is why, this is in simple terms, I hope it makes sense. That's what innovation basically means. It's that if you understand the jigsaw puzzle, that's what it is. That's what it simply means. So people sometimes get confused and think like, wearing a certain type of clothing is a bid'ah, or this kind of thing is a bid'ah, blah, blah, blah. So I think they get confused with the understanding. Anyway, S Khan, inna lillahi wa raji'un. Ameen, ameen. Value Dilion, no. Value Dilion, no. Value Dilion, no. 3 no's there. Yeah, is that like strike out? SMB, have you ever debated with a non-Muslim? I'm not good at debate, that's the thing. I'm not good at like debating. I get too angry. I'm a Pathan. So I get too angry and frustrated and I can't think straight. And when you're debating, you have to keep calm. You have to think straight. I can't do that. Saad Patel, are you sure they are published by Bush Publisher? Okay. Anyway, Jazakumullah khair, guys. I'm going to finish there. If there's any last comment that you guys want to make. Who's new here today? Yeah. Who's new here? Anyone new? Okay, there's actually a few more questions here. Okay, can you laser remove all your body hair? Is this allowed in Islam? So you can laser remove all your body hair if you're a woman, and if you're a man, except for your beard. But the problem is that you can't show your aura to anyone else. So as long as you don't show your aura, your nakedness, to anyone else. Is there any Alimiya programs you recommend down south? Have you heard of Cambridge Islamic College? Yeah, Cambridge Islamic College is very good. Ibrahim College is very good. And As-Salam are very good. So these 3 I've heard are very good. Assalamu alaikum, sab. I think you should... Okay, mashallah. Wrap up, it's late. Allahu Akbar. Okay, please could you explain soy sauce alcohol ruling again? I don't properly understand when you've explained it in the previous video. Okay, I'm gonna I don't know, I can't remember what the question was and exactly. Soy sauce, to my knowledge, doesn't contain alcohol. So if you can exactly elaborate on that, and then maybe next time I can explain it, inshallah. Okay, alright, so a good debater you need Zakir Naik. Yeah, Zakir Naik is very calm and collected. How are you? Alhamdulillah. Saad Patel, I'm very good. Jazakallah khair for asking. Talha Chaudhry, me, Tuni, Patuni, alaikum assalam, brother. Can you put some contemporary masail in Buyu and Kanzi? Yeah, good idea. Yeah, I do try to mention some contemporary masail as I go through it. But the current masail I'm going through at the moment, because I want to finish that kind of section, and then I can probably add in some masail in that. But yeah, I'm going to try to do that, inshallah. H. Hussein, Jazakallah khair. H. Hussein, mashallah, thank you very much for your support. Alhamdulillah. S. Hussein, Jazakumullah khair as well. SMB, will you do a prophetic story series? I do hope to do a Seerah series, inshallah. Cambridge Islamic College, Cambridge Muslim College. Yeah, Cambridge Islamic College is the one that's by Sheikh Akram Nadawi, and Muslim College is Sheikh Hakim Murad. So Sheikh Hakim Murad's one, Abdul Hakim Murad, that's very good, and Sheikh Suhail's there as well, and others. So it's a very the style of their teaching might not be like intense as you get in like Darul Ulooms. Sab to me, please. Sub to me, please. Can't understand that. Sub to me, please. Okay, anyway, Jazakallah khair, guys. New people. Talha Chaudhry is new. Tuni Patuni is new. Okay, anyone else that's new? No more new people. 2 new people today. MashaAllah, Jazakallah khair. Thank you very much for today's. May Allah keep us all protected. May Allah save us from, calamities and hardships and illnesses, and protect us from coronavirus. I was actually feeling a bit like a tickly throat today. So like I was in the mosque today and I was in salat, and I was like thinking to myself, should I cough? Because the guys are next to me. I don't want them to kind of get scared whilst they're reading, at-tahiyat. You know what I'm saying? Everyone like calm in the mosque, reading at-tahiyat, and all of a sudden I cough, and the guys next to me like might get up or something, leg it, or turn their faces away, or break their salat. So I was like trying not to cough, yeah, but I was feeling a bit ticklish. But alhamdulillah, it's gone now. Maybe it was early on or something. I don't know. Okay, Validian. Inna lillahi wa inna raji'un. Ameen, ameen. Jazakallah khair. So yeah, thank you very much again, guys. MashaAllah, and all of you guys who support this channel and who help me in my project, all my projects, and watch my videos, spread them to all your friends, share them with everyone, give me ideas of how I can improve them, and inshallah it's going to be a sadaqah jariyah for me and for all of you guys as well. So I hope you guys do something on Arabic for children. Yeah, I've actually done a series. I haven't really kind of put it up yet. It's like a tafsir series for children. Yeah, a tafsir series for children, which maybe in the end of year I'm thinking I might put up. It's going through the surahs at the back, Fatiha, and then An-Nas and Falaq and all those, like 15-minute long. Can you practice Jama'ah alone? Well, Jama'ah means group, so practicing Jama'ah alone, I think it's a tough one there. Yeah. So that's like one of those what do you call them? Paradoxes. Yeah. So it's Jama'ah, it's alone. If you're alone, is it a Jama'ah? How does that work? Alright, guys. Jazakallah khair. Thank you very much. Stay happy, and may Allah bless all of you guys. Yeah, someone coughed in the supermarket. Yeah, and me today in the line, I was standing in the line and I felt like coughing, and then I thought there was like this, this two men right in front of me, and I thought they might like turn around and like get scared or something and start running away. Okay. Yeah, Mufti, the hikmah of you choosing Surah Qasas for Tarkib. I don't think there was like any specific hikmah. The idea was I wanted to choose a surah which people don't normally kind of study, because normally people either study Baqarah or they study one from the back, and the back surahs are very sort of like brief, and the tarkib is going to be very hard there for average person because they're not kind of flowing. So that's why I kind of just chose the middle ones, because the stories are flowing, and they don't kind of normally cover these, and yeah, so that's why I chose Surah Qasas, I think. Anyway, Jazakallah khair again, guys. Thank you very much, all of you guys. Ahlan wa sahlan. So all the Americans, are the Americans here? Yeah, just want to see all you American guys. Just hear a shout out from the Americans. I heard a lot of your places, the Jummahs were closed. Yeah, most of our Jummahs were still running, alhamdulillah. But yeah, just one final shout out from the Americans, and then it's over. And don't get jealous, guys, why I ask all the Americans. I think the Australians would have been here, but the Australians probably for Fajr time down there or something. Can jinns pray when the mat is left open? I think jinns can pray anywhere. I don't think they need a mat to be open. All masjids are closed, yeah? Yeah, subhanallah, subhanallah. Subhanallah. Sheikh R7, yes, ahlan wa sahlan. MashaAllah, MashaAllah. Americans, my American friends. Yeah. Have you guys got like Trump's going to do that prayer day tomorrow, isn't it? Everyone, day of prayer. I mean, you got to give it to Trump, yeah. He does remember God. I know he does all these messed up things, but at the end of the day, the guy does remember God. He has a day for God. Yeah. Encourages the public to remember God. Can't wait for Ramadan. Alright guys, Jazakallah khair. Thank you very much again. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.